All right. Yeah, we got it going on here. Yep. This song is all about making the cash. That's not everything that's involved in being an entrepreneur, but it certainly helps. Yeah. All right.
Yes, it does.
Yep. Cash, 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 cash. Yeah. This is such a great song. Okay, so down to business, Jordan. Yes, time to get back to business.
Fair enough.
You know, our future is so bright we had to wear shades.
I can't.
I think I'm stealing that line from somewhere.
I can't find your notes anywhere in our folder.
Oh, yeah. It's.
I'll keep looking, but it's all good.
It's the same place we had them last week.
I figured as much, which is what confused me. Anyway, I'll keep looking. I got to tell you, last week somebody was chatting. Who's that guy that's with Marcus? He looks like a cop.
Oh, you look like a cop.
That's what they said in chat, and like I never thought I looked like a cop. But I'm out with some friends and my wife, and I tell them this, right? And I say, and they said I look like a cop, and they all started laughing, like belly laughing. At which point in time I was like, I know, right? And they were like, no, you do look like a cop.
Yeah.
So,
hey, it's in the live shows folder.
Gotcha.
And it's called Like an Entrepreneur of all things.
Yes.
So we're using Google Docs for our shared stuff. And yes, he always has a little bit of echo. I have not figured that out yet. Actually, if any of you know the answer to that, I would love your help on that. It seems that everybody that I have on Skype, there's a little bit of an echo. And I don't think it's related to my headphones, because I can turn the volume down to where I can barely hear it and everybody still hears the echo. It's some sort of feedback loop that I've got, and I can't figure it out. I only have like 10 sound sources in my stream machine, so who knows?
Well, I could put on a pair of headphones. Maybe
that's not going to change nothing.
Oh, okay.
It's the echo of you. You sound like God. Right?
Right on. Well, I just don't have anything for that, but okay.
Yeah.
Let's roll with this then.
Right. So, okay. And so, let's see here. So okay, so this is going to be a continuation of our show, and I really don't like to do continuation shows, but the amount of stuff that we were talking about is so massive that I didn't see any other way to do it. And so we're talking about blazing a new trail, and, we'll see, it all started with finding opportunities. But what we've got here is that, in one of our shows, we gave up like two different things that were like taking somebody else's idea, making it better, or seeing what other people are doing. It's kind of like, setting up a gas station, and you set it up next to another gas station that's catty corner on an intersection, because you actually make more money that way. Yeah, I know it doesn't make sense, but it's true. And so, and it's competition. But then there's the thing of when somebody creates something totally new. And when it's totally new, you have to educate people, and you have to. And this is one of the reasons why it is so risky to blaze a new trail, because nobody understands what you're doing, and so I don't. It took me a long time to educate my parents even as to what I was doing. Nobody understood it. All my aunts and uncles and everything and stuff. Now kids got it, who were playing the games, because I was playing right along with them, and they were doing transactions with me, and it was like they were like, "Holy shit, this is awesome! We've never seen this before, but we 100% get it." And so, yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't even think about this, but blazing a new trail could also mean doing something that nobody in your family is doing, none of your friends are doing. Nobody really knows what you're doing because you're not hanging with people who do what you do. And it strikes me as what's going on for you. And to a certain extent, every entrepreneur has to deal with that, right? Where there's like the family reunion, and the family's like, "Okay, so what is it this year? So
Hmm.
what you been up to?" Right?
I
Kind of an
I have
embarrassing.
I have a family member who blazed a new trail several times, and he cashed out really, really big. I mean, like insanely big, like making Forbes lists and stuff. And I can tell you that some of the projects that he's working on even this day, I hear about them and I'm like, that doesn't even mean anything to me. And that's what it's kind of like. So
Yeah,
it's really cool that he's doing these things, but like I said, it doesn't mean anything to me because I
yeah,
have no idea of what the hell he's talking about, other than like one of them has to do with horses, and people, and I'm like, and they're like, yeah, and we need this certain type of certifications and stuff, and it makes the racehorses run faster, and okay, great. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. That's interesting. That's
Yeah.
very
Yeah. Which
interesting.
I kind of get that, but when he's talking about what he's doing, I'm like, oh, that sounds really weird. No wonder
Yeah,
you're having problem getting, medical approval, you know.
yeah,
But that's because they
yeah.
have to educate then the whole establishment,
That's right. That's
and
exactly.
so
So you
that's
have
that's
all of the problems that you would normally have, plus the additional problem of having to explain your product, which
hmm hmm
normally goes over about as well as having to explain a joke, right?
right, right. It
It's
falls
normally,
flat, or they
yeah,
laugh a week later.
that's exactly right. Maybe if you're lucky. That's how you know
Yeah,
that you're really
yeah.
bombing, right?
Right, right.
And
Tough crowd tonight.
I got to tell you, I think about the people who have purchased our product and all the great things they've said about it, and the
Hmm.
mental hurdle that they had to overcome. Because I mean, I got to tell you, I'm completely blown away by what I see on my Facebook news feed. I'm a marketing guy, so I look at I look at all the ads, right? And I'm just completely blown away at all the biz op ads is what they're called, the business opportunity ads.
Hmm. Hmm.
Get rich quick. This person made $100,000 using my system. All of this stuff, and we all know, like, for the most part, we're rolling our eyes, right?
Hmm.
But there's got to be something to it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to make those kind of claims. I mean, I think some of them are lying, and some of them will get caught. But I think for the most part, even the ones that I've purchased that I could say they're solid products, they're always missing a key step in their pitch, and that is you got to build the machine,
Oh
right?
yes, yes.
I mean,
Hmm.
it all depends on what you
We
want
talked
to do.
about this, yeah.
Yeah, like how do you want to spend your time, really, at the end of the day? And
So
I've got friends who are selling products on real estate. Fabulous, fabulous product. I mean, this family is solid, right? But you got to be willing to be talking to the general public about their house and what they're willing to take for it. And it's all on how you want to spend your time. So when you told me what you do, yeah, I just thought, like, man, what a great way of building a machine. I mean, obviously it's not all 100% fun and games, but man, playing video games is pretty darn cool as like the main way to spend your time, you know.
I get that a lot.
I bet.
I go to my kid's school and I
Hmm.
get mobbed.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
I'm sure you
So
do. No question about it.
so what he's talking about here is basically the whole kind of gist of what you're saying about building this machine
Hmm.
is that if anybody is trying to sell you something that you're going to get rich quick, forget it. Because if they're selling how to get rich quick, it means they've already done it and the market is turning and they're not making the money off of it anymore. Let me put it that way, and that's really harsh to say about other people. But having gotten rich quick a couple of times, having lost it quick other times, and just knowing how this stuff works, it's very much so that the get rich quick stuff, if you're not the one that's creating it, then you've already missed the opportunity. And I have never looked for that kind of opportunity because I believe in doing a good job and doing it well and and I'm in it for the long term. I want this to be my career. I want this to be what I retire from doing, although I'm never going to retire. I'm just going to play more video games and take more vacations.
I was going to say, retire from what?
Right.
Exactly would you be retiring from?
Right. And so I always look at this as the long term. And so Jordan mentioned that we have a product, which we do, and that's part of what inspired this show. And we'll tell you about it here in a couple of minutes because it's really cool. But I do have one thing that people are asking for, Jordan.
Okay.
They want to know more about you. So many of the people who are here know a lot about me because they listen to me talk all day. But who is Jordan?
Okay, well, I'll give you the really, really short version. Especially because I just didn't have any time to think about what I was going to say.
Sorry,
right?
I'm good about that.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for putting me on the spot. Appreciate it.
Anytime, buddy.
Yeah, so very, very simple. Most entrepreneurs say things like, I make a horrible employee. You wouldn't want me as an employee. I'm actually the opposite. I think I make a great employee. And as a matter of fact, my father is a very, very smart man and did very, very well for him in corporate America and taught me kind of how to do the corporate America game. And I did great. And my bosses loved me. My boss's bosses loved me. Until that one day when there was a management change and the guy in charge decided he didn't like me anymore. So I got fired. And it was humiliating, but I kind of always wanted to do my own thing. So that's when I started doing my own thing. It was
the catalyst.
Yeah, it was the catalyst. And that was probably, 10 years ago or so. And slowly but surely I got into doing, I stumbled into what I absolutely love to do, and it's kind of a new thing. It's called marketing automation, and it's all building online sales funnels and managing a CRM, and it's that magic hand that moves people to do one thing or another, right? And
he's talking Jedi.
Yeah, total Jedi mind tricks. Yeah, absolutely. And the only thing that I like more than that is playing video games. So doing both with my buddy Marcus is just a freaking no-brainer. It's and you got to admit, we've been having fun. I mean, I've taken on a lot of projects, but I've probably had the most fun hanging with you on this project, right? Just putting together the curriculum. And
you want to know why it took us 8 months? Because we were screwing around half the time. We could have had it done in 4.
yeah, we could have.
It's one of those things, and that's what we talk about in the product too. Okay, so let's just introduce this, so first off, before I introduce the product, I want to give a big shout out to Joe Tenacious, who made this logo. I posted in Discord in the Marky Needs Help. I said, help us out with some logos for the Like an Entrepreneur show. He made this, and it looks pretty clean, pretty good, and everything, and there was a few others in there that were good as well. But I just want to give him a shout out because that's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, that is a really slick looking logo, man.
So, and now we're removing the logo, and I'm going to show you all something else here. So, but we'll come back to it. So this is the product that inspired this show. I've always wanted to do an entrepreneur show, and I've done many of them. I used to do Marky's Mailbag and stuff like that, and there's like 40 or 50 of those, and it was just questions on whatever. A lot of them turned out to be entrepreneurial. But now I get a lot of questions all the time about how do I do this? How do I do my YouTube? 10 years on YouTube now. How do I do the live streaming? I mean, there was questions today. People want to know, how do I make the pop-ups happen whenever someone follows or whatnot? And the fact is that you can go out there and you can find this stuff. Not that pop-up question, but this one specifically deals with YouTube. And but you have all these questions about how do I make content out there so I can put it up so people can enjoy it, so I can earn some money, so that I can do things like pay for all these video games I want to play. And so I don't have to tell mom and dad anymore, which we have a lot of kids that are in this too. We have a lot of adults and we have kids in it too. And I don't have to ask mom and dad for money for video games, or I don't have to ask the wife for money for video games. And yeah, all of you raise your hand who just say in chat that you actually ask the wife before you buy another game. So now my wife knows that I do this for a living, but if I'm going to buy something really big, I still talk to her about it.
Good for you.
Yeah, well, we know who owns the bank account, and so what if you can make money playing video games, and what if there's the possibility of turning this into a job, not a job of I hate to go to work. It's like, this is my no job. This is hell yeah, I go and I play video games and get paid for it. That kind of job. And so, oh, you have a secret room and secret bank account? Awesome, Macklenos. So this is what kicked off this project. We're like, we need to spread the entrepreneurial word at the same time we have a vehicle for sharing this and bringing people on board. And what has happened is absolutely amazing. I am so proud of all the people that we have in there right now. We have taught them how to get the videos up and get producing stuff, and they're already doing it. And I actually thought it would take a couple of weeks before we started having videos come up. And I kid you not, it was like day one people were posting videos. And now we're having, there's multiple every day, and these big plans happening, and some of them have even invested more than the cost of this product into it. And they're really going forth and creating. And it's just so awesome to see. How are you feeling? How are you feeling about that?
It really, really is. In fact, I got to tell you, there were a couple of surprises that I've had. I had no idea how awesome everybody would be in our closed Facebook group for the product, right? So I'm seeing a lot of support. I'm seeing a lot of accountability. I'm seeing people offer suggestions. Somebody posts a video and says, "Hey, okay, guys, be brutal. I want to hear it." And people are still super nice.
Be brutal. Yeah.
I mean, I have a feeling it's because we've got a lot of professionals, a lot of people who have some life experience is a nice way of putting it, I suppose. And just, all around good folks. I really want to kind of grow the group to get some more people in there, but I'm kind of enjoying who's in there right now. They're all great people. And we've got some great questions going back and forth, a lot of great discussions. Yeah, man, it's kind of taken on a life of its own, and it's really cool to watch.
It already has exceeded my expectations, and I'm really happy about that, because I didn't know what was going to happen with this. This is another entrepreneurial adventure. Jordan and I worked on this for about 8 months, putting this whole package together, because you can find guides out there on how to be successful on YouTube, but they're written by people who actually are not YouTubers. and the ones that are YouTubers writing it, well, they don't tell everything. They give you like 80%, and there's the other 20% they don't talk about. They want to hide it and keep it to themselves, because that's where the money is made. And I can't wait to drop some of the bombs on these guys when we show them some other little things, or when they get to the point in the whole thing. There's a section where we talk about how to make like 4 times the amount of money that you make on advertising. And money is not the only success point. I want to stress that, because some people are not into this for money. But if you make more money, it gives you more ability to make more content. Which is, right. If you love to make content and you can do it full time, just think of how much you can make.
Yep, that's exactly right. And you know what? I think for what it's worth, there's a distant reach in chat who says, I'm currently debating the $60 price tag in Canada. It's $45 in the end. And all I can say is, hey, for everybody, right? Buy it, don't buy it. We put together a hell of a product. Everybody who's purchased it so far has said, holy crap, I can't believe the value that you guys put in it. And even with that being said, if you don't have the money for it, don't buy it. I mean,
right.
Right? I mean,
we want people to have food on the table at night. We're not interested
absolutely. And we want people who are willing to take action, right? So if you're going to buy the product, we want to see you making videos and participating with us in the critiques and going on this journey with us. So if you're on the fence about it, then I don't know what to tell you other than we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We're going to
And
throw in some time-sensitive bonuses here and there, but really, a hard pitch is not what you're going to get out of either one of us.
right. And I want to say you mentioned one thing which is hard, which is, we want people who are going to take action and make content. So if you struggle with that point, we actually talk about that a lot because you're
Yeah.
not the only one that struggles with it. So if you want to, then do it. And we'll try and help you over that hump of, getting shit published. And because that is, in fact, we already have comments in there of people saying that was their biggest hurdle and they're already publishing stuff. And so, okay, enough about this right here, but it is !no job in Twitch chat, and there's a link in the description in YouTube, and you can get in there, you can join us. It's never too late. It's not that type of thing. And so we'd love to work with you. Now we gotta like get to our. I don't want to make this another extension. we got to finish up what we started here.
Yeah, and we always like to try to backtrack a little bit to how we all got to where we are, right? Not just you and I, but everybody, right? And and I'm not going to pretend like my experience in public school is the same as everyone else's growing up, but I think it was pretty common for people to ask me at different stages, so what are you going to do when you grow up?
Mm-hmm.
The narrative behind that being, what's the one job you're going to have for the rest of your life?
Right.
Which always scared the shit out of me, right? So what are you going to go to college for, to study, to become for the rest of your life, right? And I never liked that question much. And you, from what I'm to understand, you actually took an aptitude test.
I did in like 7th or 8th grade.
Yeah, when you were in middle school. And I actually wrote this down because I thought this was pretty funny. So you got police officer, firefighter, or bus driver.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And you ended up taking the test to become a police officer.
Right. And I passed the initial test to get into the interviews. And then my wife at the time, she said, no, it's going to make me too nervous. And I had to respect that. So.
And you ended up becoming
a bus driver. Yeah.
So this aptitude
and I loved
test
it.
Actually nailed it for you.
Right. But it wasn't the right thing for me, because.
But you actually did the bus driver job.
Yes.
And
yes.
you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
You actually had a good time.
Yes, I really enjoyed it, but I'm not. There was nothing on that test that said you should be an entrepreneur. And I think that just to mention something on that point about being an entrepreneur is that if you look at this, entrepreneurs are kind of on the outside. Entrepreneurs are the ones in class who don't always turn in their homework. They are the ones in class who are getting in trouble all the time. They are the ones in class who get what's going on in the classroom, and it instantly gets put together in their head, but they have a hard time articulating it, putting it onto paper, and passing the tests. That was me, and I see that so many different places. Look at Richard Branson, and is that his name? Yeah.
Yeah.
The Virgin guy. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and so that he only he dropped out of school in like 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And he's severely dyslexic. Hey, so am I. He's ADD.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so am I.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have names for this whenever we were kids, but
That's right.
But I identify a lot with that because I had a hard time, but I figured stuff out because nothing was going to stop me. My parents will tell you that I was the most annoying kid because at 5 years old I was so damn independent that I'd be gone from the house, going out and doing things, and be like, "Where the fuck is Marcus?"
Yeah.
Scared to death,
Yeah.
calling the police on me a couple of times because, oh no, I just went down to Taco Bell and asked them if I could wash tables so that I could get a burrito and a pop. And it was a block and a half away. I'm 5 years old. And of course, Taco Bell obliged me because I didn't have any money.
Sure. Yeah, by the way, I gotta cut you off halfway here.
Yeah.
Bird Dog SL says, that shitty test said I would be a rancher.
A rancher? Oh, wow.
Man, that's so awesome. what person decided they were going to trick a kid into saying how much he likes animals? And so, because you like animals, I'm just guessing here that, well, you must be a
And
rancher.
and were you a city kid? I want to know that. Was
Yeah,
this
yeah.
were you inner city or did you live rural?
Did you?
Because
Yeah,
if
that's
you
a good
lived
question.
rural, it actually it could be a valid suggestion. But if you're a city kid, there's no way that's a valid suggestion. Not unless
Yeah,
you're 100% determined that I want to be a rancher.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. And let's see here. Wild Cadre, UK says, or Carday says, Branson also had no idea how
you.
to read charts or financial recordings, like accounting and stuff like
Mm-hmm,
that.
mm-hmm.
I've heard that. And I got to tell you,
He doesn't use a computer.
yeah, and he just he's absolutely brilliant in how he tests markets. I think I might have mentioned this to you before, um, but I actually interviewed on a podcast series that I was helping a buddy out with for a couple of years. I interviewed a guy who created Uber for executive jet service. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really cool because I mean those things can get very, very pricey. So even amongst the elite, they look for like timeshares and leases and stuff like that because if you're not always flying this freaking $1 million Learjet, then you want some way of cutting down on the costs. So this guy figured out a way of doing it. It was so successful, Branson bought him. And
Mm.
so every quarter or so, whatever he was doing, he was talking to Branson. And eventually he asked Branson what his secret was. Like, the dude's made what I think he's the only person in the world who has made in excess of $1 billion in like 7 markets or something like that. I mean, Google it, you can find out. I mean, it's crazy that he's able to go into so many different markets
Mm-hmm.
and be able to conjure huge business deals out of it. And the guy asks him kind of, so what's your secret sauce? And he says, it's really simple. He says, I find one person in one market who's purchasing something. Like he's got his eye on that business. And he says, give me one complaint, right? Person tells him what their biggest complaint is over that business. So he just goes and creates a new business that solves that one complaint. So think
Mm-hmm.
about if it's price, that's kind of a big thing. If it's a hassle to use and the customer service sucks, that's kind of a big thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Location,
yeah, exactly.
deliverability.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot to be said for that. Which, by the way, not blazing a trail.
Right. Right.
That's doing
So.
the smart thing. He's already found the market,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
he's already identified the business type and the market, and he's already engaged with the market before he goes off into a new venture. I think it's incredibly brilliant. How
Mm-hmm.
can you how
Mm-hmm.
can you bat an eye at that? So in
Yeah.
any case, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get you off
No,
track.
that's okay. That's okay. I will mention one thing to you, Jordan, since you don't know the gamer chat lingo. When someone has UK at the end, it means they're from the UK. They have GB, Great Britain, and so on. NL, Netherlands.
I got
So,
that. I got
oh, I
that.
know. I thought you were trying to pronounce it as part of the word.
Oh yeah, no, I just couldn't
Yeah,
figure out it was cadre or carde.
yeah, yeah. I just do my best, and if I screw it up, screw it.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, you know, I graduated at the bottom of my high school class, so I'm doing my best.
Oh, you graduated? I didn't.
Barely. I was at
Yeah.
the bottom of the class. Yeah.
Yeah. And for the question about whether or not it's downloadable and everything, yes, it's a download. It's stuff you have
Uh,
access to.
well,
And,
videos
well,
are streamed,
yes.
and there are a couple of download guides that
Hmm.
you can get readily PDFs, ebook kind of things.
And the videos we have actually have the ability to update them live, so that if we need to update them, then the product updates. So which is really nice
Yeah,
because things change over time.
yeah, we had a question in chat or in our Facebook group last night, and the person was asking very, very good questions about how to put, like, what kind of keywords to put in their YouTube video
Hmm.
descriptions. They were asking about how to research those and things like that. The problem with adding a product around that is because it'll change 3 months from now. All the buttons will be different.
Hmm.
So it'll make it easier for you and I to keep it up to date if that's what we want to do. So
Okay, so let's continue on with this blazing a new trail. I really want to. I love bullshitting and talking about all these different things that come to our mind. It goes poof, poof, poof. And by the way, if you guys haven't noticed, the wheels are turning. Like when you guys say things, I'm like going, oh, that's another good idea. How can I apply that? Yeah. So and so I can go on for hours like this. And Jordan and I do go on for hours like this. Our meetings are supposed to last like an hour. 4 hours later, we're like, okay, I think we got everything done. Yeah.
Yeah, there have been a couple of times.
So the whole story started on this about basically how did I get lucky into blazing a new trail in the video game industry. And in Ultima Online in 1997, I mean, just a quick synopsis, I realized that people were selling items in the games and they were selling them for cash on eBay. And I realized that I could do this too. Like, I could go and get more of these swords and I can sell them for $20 a piece too. And I could then we did something brand new of allowing people to pay in-game currency for their game time, to pay their subscription, which you all know who play EVE, it's called Plex. Plex, though CCP got that system we created. And so, I mean, they may take credit for it. They may not. They may have seen it someplace else or whatnot. I don't know. But I can tell you the first recorded history of that was us in 1997, in like October of 1997. And so, anyway, and if you missed all of this story and you're listening to this and you're going, holy shit, I want to hear all of this. It's on YouTube, and it's the Blazing a Trail Like an Entrepreneur. And these are all in order. And if you missed any of these, you can watch the previous ones, and you can look at them and go, oh my God, I can't believe the first episode looked so bad. We're improving as we go, you know? So where we left off at last time was Blizzard crushing me. And basically, we were not touching World of Warcraft accounts, but we were approving transactions. And we had, I kid you not, $2.5 million worth of transactions happening per month in our forums of people buying accounts from other people and trading them to other people and stuff. And this was a violation of the terms of the game. But we were not actually in there doing these transfers. But what we were doing is we had lost so much money in these markets that we figured out how to not take fraud. And that is today why we've been asked by Crowfall and Shroud of the Avatar to do the secondary market so we can provide an honest source in there. And because what happens is that people get ripped off and everything. So we made the mistake of taking the funds for these accounts into our business account. And we shouldn't have done that. We should have just had management rights on the person that we were doing this for, instead of taking in the money, taking our cut, and then sending the rest to them. And what happened is that Blizzard banned all of the accounts. Like, it was like 70, 80 days in from doing these transactions, and we had done over $250,000 in transactions. And so then... So
those weren't that wasn't your money. It was just transactions that you were going back and forth, right?
Well, it was our money. And the reason it was our money is because it went into our account. And then we paid out. Okay. And so minus our charge. And so gotcha. Not only had we taken in over $250,000 into our account this way, we had paid out on all of those that had been sold. So whatever percentage it was, I don't remember, maybe 20% or something like that, we had paid out to the person who was operating this business, and we were just operating this particular portion of the service for. And so everybody got banned in one day. And so what happened? Everybody filed a complaint. It's normal, you know. You lose access to your stuff, you want to do a chargeback, you want to do whatever. I mean, yeah. And was it the customer's fault? Well, yes and no. I mean, it was their fault for buying an account that violated the terms of service. It was our fault for engaging in that. And it was the fault of the person who was selling them, you know, and stuff. And so these were gray areas that we worked in. And we ended up in, I think it was March of 2010, we said, no, we're done. We're out of there. And we haven't done any of that stuff since. And that's when all the game companies asked us to start doing it for them, like white label, which I've done a bunch of that. You guys may not know it, but there's a bunch of games out there where we've processed the transactions, and you think you're working with them, you're working with us. So anyway, that was a huge moment in my entrepreneurial career, and it's probably the most expensive single event certificate that I've gotten, meaning that like I graduated and I have this certificate. So in the end, it cost me $20,000 or $30,000. We figured it out, and so anyway, that was a big hit, but that's all part of learning and everything. And so any of you who are entrepreneurs, that you have to push the envelope forward in order to make leaps and strides. And so if you don't do that, you stay where you're at the whole time. And I've seen this multiple times. In fact, I've seen this when I have sold businesses. And the new people are like, we're just going to operate it. No, you can't operate it. You got to be visionary, and you got to move it forward. And all of them failed because of that. And that's a huge lesson to learn. And then they blame us. You sold me a bunk company. Well, did you happen to look at the 500-page binder that we put together that told you exactly how to operate the business? And they're like, where is it? I don't know. We go to their offices, and I kid you not, it was construction cone orange, this binder, and it was sitting up on their shelf. They had never opened it. They're like, oh, it was just one of the company documents. And they signed. Wow. We had them sign paperwork saying that they received this operations manual on how to operate the whole business.
Wow.
And then they blame us. Well, it wasn't right that they blamed us because they didn't do their part. But, without a visionary there to push things forward, it doesn't work right.
Yeah, that's a common theme I hear. Because as a business owner, if you want to sell, you purposely start ramping up your sales so that you can show that your business is as valuable as possible, right? Mm-hmm. It's unethical to do it if you can't really maintain it. If you're doing, if you're doing a bunch of coupons or something, and that's not normally how you do business, right? But man, if you're buying a business, you got to know, you got to have a plan to continue the growth, right? Mm-hmm. Not just maintain it, because the guy who built the growth, who started the growth, is freaking leaving, right?
Right.
They're paying him, they were paying you to go away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have anybody to replace you. I get it, man.
What I want to say, I guess the golden nugget here is that don't think that you can just walk in and buy somebody else's business and be brilliant with it. Because of this one fact. You don't know what they were thinking. You don't know how they did it all and everything. And so, you got to take your vision. Now, if you have a really strong vision and you're being successful in a certain area and you go, oh, I can absorb that and add it too, and really further growth and stuff, perfect. But don't think that, okay, my idea of being an entrepreneur is I'm going to buy a business and then I will be an entrepreneur. So I don't think it works that way.
No, franchises are sold based on that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Come be a business owner, and then when you get there, you realize, holy crap, I just bought my own job.
Right.
That I can never leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And not all franchises, but a lot of them.
Right.
A lot of them.
I actually know some franchise owners, McDonald's franchise owners, that are making bank, like $250,000 profit a year off of each location. And then whoever bought all the Papa Murphy's stuff here in these 3 counties and then screwed it all up, God damn you.
Well, that's
they got
how
those
it always
tied
works.
up, and they've had 10 locations and they've all screwed up, and it's the best damn pizza there was. And today is National Pizza Day. So damn it.
Yeah. On that note, I don't think I've ever heard. I mean, maybe it's happened. Maybe somebody watching can vouch for this. But as far as I'm concerned, I've never heard anyone say, yeah, there's this really great restaurant. Same family's owned it for 3 generations. Then somebody bought it, and it got better.
Right.
I've never heard that one.
Yeah, I've never heard that either.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, anyway, let's continue on here. And
Yeah.
so after that crush from Blizzard, I ended up in another thing with Blizzard where they actually I got deposed. So I was given like a subpoena that I had to go downtown to these lawyers' offices who were lawyers for Blizzard, and I had to answer all of their questions truthfully and honestly. I was even like sworn in and stuff. And we were selling another product, and I can tell you that I learned some really great stuff from this. But the product was WoW Glider, and we referred millions of dollars in sales for it, and it worked out really good. And this is where I learned how to optimize a page for conversions, because I had so many people come into this page for this that but I wasn't getting many sales. It was like less than 1%. And so I started learning, and we teach some of this in our stuff about how to use keywords and how to use titles and thumbnails and everything. Well, I first place I learned that was in this sales page. And I got my conversion all the way up to 30%, which is enormous, by qualifying who comes in and everything. And we talk about that too, about it's not how many viewers you have, it's the quality of the viewers that come. And that's what causes you to raise up in YouTube and stuff. So anyway, but that's where I learned it, and that all went to hell too. And in fact, that's in the documentary, the Play Money documentary, which, by the way, we did not play that the trailer for that last show, and we said we would.
Yeah, we should. We should play that. I really enjoyed it.
So let me just show it all to you all right now. And this is I've been followed around for 10 years now by a documentary film crew, and the people involved in here, like the guy who says he's on his way to 100 million in revenue. He is now chairman of the board of Bitcoin, and the guy who's throwing rocks and being sued by Blizzard is the one that made WoW Glider, who now is hacking Teslas and stuff. He's a professional hacker, and I mean ethical. I don't know of any unethical stuff that he's doing, but he does some amazing stuff with Tesla cars, and I don't know where he works, but somebody's paying him big bucks for this stuff, and the guy who's in China, he turned his WoW operation of gold farming into an actual game publisher in China, where he is taking good games in China and westernizing them and publishing them here in the United States, and he's doing really well at it now. And
Wow.
so, yeah, and so let me just play this for you, and we'll watch it, and then we'll continue on. So here it is. I did hit the button. There it is. I struggled for years trying to explain what it was I was doing.
Usually I just say I work with video games, because if I say, I'm a virtual currency broker, people just kind of look at you like, what?
You've got games that are based entirely on selling gold on Facebook. Virtual worlds are creating demand, and somebody's going to have to meet those demands. If they don't, somebody like me will.
It was at that time that I realized that people will spend money on virtual things no differently than they would for tangible things. That was kind of that eureka moment for me. And that's really when my company was on its way to doing 100 million in revenue.
And they said, so what you got to do, you got to take all the profit we've made, and you got to give it to us, or we're going to sue you tomorrow. Oh, this is going to end badly. Oh.
And there are a lot of people who hate what we do.
Business versus family. I didn't do well.
This is the future of the video game industry.
And this has happened on a massive scale in countries like China, 比如说当他们问的时候呢，我说 OK， 那休息。他们没有底薪的。
The real and the virtual starts to blend together.
But I always looked at this as something that could go poof instantly. So that is the Play Money documentary. We're finishing filming right now. Filming's scheduled to be finished in May of this year. And they're going to be following me around for another week or so here at the office. And in fact, maybe we'll even get to do Like an Entrepreneur episode with them filming. That'll be fun. Be cool. Yeah. And in fact, maybe we can start asking them questions without them knowing that they're going to be on the show. Is that a plan? I'll turn on a room mic and I'll have another camera and I'll add them up in a third window and they won't even know.
That's awesome.
We're going to surprise them. Yeah. Okay, so don't anybody tell them. Actually, they're probably watching this. In fact, they might even be here right now. If you guys are here, the Play Money guys are here, say hello in chat. Anyway, yeah, we're going to be filming here for a week or two, and then we're going to be filming in Austin. We're going to be filming with Richard Garriott, myself, Richard Garriott, and Gordon Walton, who also is one of the leaders in the space of buying and selling things on the secondary market here, because we're doing it for his game, Crowfall. And so he has some very specific thoughts on it I thought were really interesting, so we're getting him involved. And so anyway, that's coming up, and I'm really excited about that. And when filming finishes and we know the dates of where it's going to appear, like it's going to be at South by Southwest and it's going to be at other film festivals, I'll definitely let you know. And so it'll be I don't know, it'll probably go on the circuit for a year, something like that, and then it'll end up on Netflix or maybe even like HBO is kind of top of the line of where documentaries go and stuff. So I don't know, we'll see.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So, another thing in my whole timeline here is that doing RMT, which is real money trade, while it has really gotten me a lot of good things at this moment, because like Shroud of the Avatar by Richard Garriott and Crowfall by Gordon Walton, they both have asked us to do this for them because they're allowing external transactions to happen, and they wanted somebody they knew that they could trust to be processing transactions like this, because they don't want it to be full of fraud, and they want people to have a safe place to go. And so we're providing that. And I never thought that was going to happen because of things like, I went to E3 one time and I had an interview scheduled with Richard Garriott, and I got there and someone else came out to me to meet me and said, "I apologize, your interview's been canceled." And I'm like, "Oh, Richard's not available?" And they're like, "No, corporate came down and told him he was not allowed to do this interview with you because I had done RMT in the past."
Wow.
Yeah. So later on, I saw him in a hallway and he grabbed me and he apologized to me. And he's like, "I got to respect corporate. They're my boss." He is an entrepreneur and a visionary as well, making video games. But even, he has a boss. We all have bosses. I don't know if you know this, but do you guys know who my boss is? Everybody in chat? Because I'll tell you who my boss is. And it's not my wife. That's not what I'm saying. You all are my boss. Meaning that if you don't approve of what I'm doing and this is how I'm making a living, then I have to change. So that is one thing that when you are self-employed, Alex is my business partner. So, and you have to respect your business partner. It's just like Jordan's business partner in this. And so, but it's all of you guys. And so if you guys all say, no, we don't want to support that stuff anymore that Marky's doing or whatnot, I have to go get a job or I have to go do something else or whatnot. And but I don't mind. It's worked out well. You guys have treated me good. So hopefully I've treated all of you good too. So, we started in Ultima Online, and what was really incredible was, and this by the way can translate into YouTube success as well. And so I'm going to relate this back around to the product that we have about the YouTube stuff. So 10 years, I had been selling 10 years on Ultima Online. The product's in there. We got grandfathered in and stuff as being legit because we did actually honest business. And, so we were, even at 10 years later, we're selling 20 or 30K a month worth of product. And not all of that was profit, but so at 20K, we were probably profiting about 5K after all the expenses, which is not bad.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah. But
now, did you have to take on inventory for that?
I had a lot of virtual inventory.
Okay.
And which leads right into my next item on the list.
Okay, gotcha. So
yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is you paid out cash
Yes.
to receive something, even
Yes.
if it was virtual.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's simple buying and selling. Those of you who play Eve, it is station trading. Or it is, we switched items from server to server. If there was one server that had a lot of call for items that we didn't have, it cost us $20 to transfer it, but it was a $100 item. We turn around, and since nobody else had it, we charge $120 on that other server because it cost us $20 to transfer it, so just raise the price and it sold. And so we did that for quite a long time. Now, with that, and how I want to relate that, before I get to the drama of this rogue GM, before I get to that, I just want to say that, like with the YouTube stuff, so in UO, I took these chances and I was making, we were doing this stuff and sales just blew up. And in fact, this sounds so insane, we capped our growth at 170% per month. And because any point we were growing faster than that, we could not hire enough employees that were quality to meet the demand.
Wow.
And so we would hit 170% sometimes 10 days into the month. And then we would have to tell everybody that we are not accepting new customers right now.
Whoa.
Yeah, we're only customers that we had worked with. Because we had to stop the flow of all of these transactions because we couldn't keep up. I couldn't buy all the product fast enough, and I couldn't get staff, fast enough.
Wow, what a great problem to have.
Oh, I know it's a great problem to have, but who would ever think of having to tell people to go away?
Yeah.
Now, I haven't had this problem on YouTube, but what happened was I had the same success on YouTube. I just started putting stuff up there. I started my YouTube channel. When you go to it and see the first videos, I'm talking about limousines and stuff like that. And I'm just, I'm having a good time talking about all that stuff. And all I'm doing is relating my experience of building this limousine service. And, but at the same time, so my channel is getting all of these subscribers and all of these views, and I don't even know where the hell it's all coming from. Let me show you. Let me show you one of my cars here. I'm going to drag it onto the screen here. Let's see. There it is. So that is one of my cars that I had. That is a H2 Hummer limousine that was 38 and a half feet long.
Wow.
City buses are 40 feet.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we could hold like 21 passengers in that or whatnot. It had a dance floor in it too. So, yeah. Okay. So,
Man,
anyway,
I'm getting a sense here. Many a stripper took their clothes off in the back of your limo.
I'm sure that happened. Yes, there was a divider that could divide it off so that you didn't see what was going on there. And in fact, oh my gosh.
No, you mean so that you didn't see what was going on.
Right,
back there.
right. I one time, I got to tell this story now that you brought it up. I one time picked up this guy at a nightclub, and he was the owner and everything. And I get a call.
Of the nightclub that you picked up. Okay.
Yeah, and it was him and another woman, and they get into the back of the car, and he's just like, I don't care where you drive, just take us on a tour. Okay, so. And I'm like, whatever. I didn't think nothing of it. I'm like, they just want to go out and drive. Okay, fine. And so then, when I get to a stop, I can tell that there's something going on back there, because you know, like when somebody's rocking the car, I know something's going on back there, and the divider is up, and so then I get this phone call on my cell phone, and it's this woman saying that the guy who's in back is not answering his phone, and it's an emergency. She needs to talk to him. I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm thinking it's, you know, he comes from work and there's something going on at work or whatnot. And I'm like, well, I'll try and page him. And I try and lift the intercom. They don't answer and everything. And she's like, I have to speak to him now. So I drop the divider down just a tad bit so that I can talk through it, because he's not answering the intercom back there. And all I see is his face. He was on top. And then I hand the phone through, and come to find out it was his wife.
Ouch.
Yeah. That ended up being not a very good trip for him.
Yeah. Well, that'll kill the mood.
Right. I'm sure it did. Yeah. So, okay, continuing on.
I guess that answers the question of, like, what his wife does when they're having sex. Call from home and ask what the hell's going on.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know, I was relaying stories like this on my channel. I mean, of course, I wasn't able to tell that one because a person would know, and I wouldn't get them back as a customer and stuff like that. But I was talking about experiences with different people and just leaving all, you know, identities out and stuff. And it really came down to that everybody was just, you know, people couldn't get enough of my videos, and one of them hit like 1 million views. And YouTube came to me and said, hey, we're testing this partnership program, and we think you're making good content. Would you like to do it? And they didn't even have any forums or anything yet. I was like in the first 100 or 200 people that actually monetize videos on YouTube. And so, you know, it led to all kinds of things. And so in the stuff that we're teaching in our guide, one of the things that happens is you are presented with opportunities if you start getting popular. You know, whether it be, you know, Sony, I have Sony headphones on, wants to, you know, give you shit so that you show it on stream, which this is not. They didn't give me this. I bought it. Or video game companies want to give you games or whatever and such. So anyway, Mad Success brings on all kinds of things, including competition. And getting back around to the UO thing, a GM who was new, probably wanting to prove himself at the office, he went in to my accounts and he saw that we had some duped items. And duped items, how am I supposed to know what's duped or what's not? I mean, somebody's handing me something in the game that is, you know, an intangible good. There's nothing on it that says duped. You know, if somebody tells you that somebody's handing you stuff and it's duped, well, then you have an inclination that you at least most likely know. Well, do you believe them?
You're talking about duplicate items.
Yeah.
How would somebody come up with a duplicate item in UO?
So a duplicated item is created by causing an exploit, causing something to happen on the game that then gives the person 2 of the items. And I think that the biggest one was they would crash the server right after they take something out of their bank box and put it into their backpack, and they would cause a crash, and then it'd be at both locations at the same time.
I see.
But you know, how do you know whether that's duped or not?
They traded off to some poor guy like Marky. How in the hell would you know?
Right. And so what this rogue GM did was he said, "Oh my God, he has these items that are duped." Which, by the way, they were duped. We found out after later investigating they were duped 7 years prior to him seeing them. They'd been sitting in our inventory for 7 years.
Wow.
And so we saw these, and normally what you do is you ban an account. Well, or you suspend it. Well, no, he deleted them. He deleted my accounts. And so everything was gone. And the back in the day in UO, they never planned that they were going to have more than one server, and they never planned that they would have so many people playing. And the whole infrastructure was built around just a single server. That's, by the way, where the term shards comes from, because they broke the crystal, which was the game server, and then made duplicates everywhere. Because when you look through a shard, it looks the same whether you look for one shard or another.
Gotcha.
And so anyway, he deleted them, and they could not be. By the time I was talking to the producer of the game, which was like a day and a half later or whatnot, he's like, "I'm sorry, but the only way to restore them is to roll back the game by a day and a half for everybody." And
Wow.
and I had holdings on every server, which meant that every server would have to be rolled back.
Wow.
And so he just apologized. And if you watched the episode before where I was so harsh on EA, you want to know why? I mean, this is one of the things that EA did to me. And did I own any of those items? No. In that EA owned all of them, but I was just using them. And when I say in that film trailer that I always know everything could just go poof, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And that can happen with your YouTube channel. If you're a numbnut and they ban you, your shit's gone. You know?
Well, and one of the things that we talk about in the product is you don't even have to do anything wrong, and you'll have problems from people who are claiming copyright against your music, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and we talk about that because that's one of the most commonly asked about things.
Mm-hmm.
So we made sure that was kind of a part of one of the segments that we roll out in this product, because like, and there's kind of there's a phrase that entrepreneurs use when it comes to social media and stuff like YouTube. If you're building a business on social media or YouTube, you're building a house on shifting sand. It can be taken away from you at a moment's notice. So one of the strategies, and I think this is one of the strategies that you were probably familiar with, but really got a better understanding once we started working together, is that's where we start, but we take people somewhere else so that we're not totally reliant on that one platform, right? We want to integrate a little bit better with them and have conversations in different environments. So, right?
It's not having all of your eggs in one basket, which we have multiple areas that we interact with people. I have multiple, I stream to Twitch and YouTube at the same time. If I have problems on one, I always have the other. Would I like to do just one and just focus on that? Yeah. But
sure would make life easier.
It would make things a lot simpler. Yeah. But, there's advantages to both. And everything. So
you got your entire business worth of virtual accounts wiped out all at once with a sort of apology.
Right. I mean, I did get a real apology.
Okay.
But which is really incredible. Who has ever gotten an apology from a video game company that is to you? No one.
Okay. Got it. Doesn't so it doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't happen. And you just get banned and you get no answer. And but the I don't know, it didn't destroy our business because our business wasn't based just on Ultima Online.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah,
good for you.
So but it hurt big time.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. That'll leave a mark, right? That'll sting a bit.
Yeah, as you let a couple of employees go.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. So before we go on to the next thing that happened, because I'm interested to hear where that took you. We have a question in chat about Dirk Blackpool asks, do you have an issue with copyrights on the games you were showing in the video?
Right. So I will briefly say, without giving anything away, this is one of the really golden nuggets that's in the product, and I don't want to devalue the product, even though it has enormous value. But we address that, and you are okay with playing video games, and we tell you why in the product, except Nintendo. Planning on doing Nintendo games? Just go buy a gun and shoot yourself, because they're going to shoot you anyway. Don't really do that. I'm just saying. That's just a metaphor. maybe the wrong metaphor. Yes. So, just get ready to throw your computer out the window. There you go. And no, don't do that either. There might be somebody below.
So after you laid people off,
Mm-hmm.
now we're going to fast forward a little bit. You actually stopped doing real money trades, right?
Yeah. So here's what happened. I met Joffrey Zatkins, and he is one of the original people in MMO space. He was one of the original 3 devs making EverQuest. And in fact, I did an interview with him that is on my YouTube channel. And we talked about the impact of RMT, the real money trade, on video games. And what I found out is that RMT was the number one cost of customer service. And that, because people get their shit taken. So having a value on stuff encourages hackers to try and hack more accounts so that they can get more stuff. And then you get hacked and you go, oh my God, I got hacked. And you contact support and they have to do an investigation. Yes, you were really hacked. Okay, we have to recreate the items and give them back to you or whatnot because they want to keep a customer.
Sure.
Well, other ones say, well, you were hacked. Well, you shouldn't have done that. And then there's others who sell their stuff. And then the payment coming into them gets reversed because it was stolen credit card or hacked PayPal account or whatever. And so what happens is that it creates this enormous amount of customer service on the video game publisher. And this is why we've been asked to do this officially here as well, because the amount of stuff that we're doing and the resources that it takes to support us from like Crowfall and Shroud of the Avatar directly reduces their customer service costs because we're taking these people in the market that want to do this kind of stuff and we're doing it honestly. And so we've had literally out of all the transactions so far, we've had only one person contact customer service about any of the transactions. And really they should have just contacted us. But for some reason they went to the game company and they got referred back over to us. But, and we take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, we decided that we were done in that market after I did that interview. He made such an impact on me. And because I don't want to take these games that I love and cause a whole bunch more, costs on them because I know that money gets taken away from development. I'm sure some of it gets taken away from profits, but it also greatly impacts development and furthering of the game.
Sure.
And I want these games, if I love them, I want them to continue.
Sure. Yeah, you don't want to be in a scenario where you're making money on at the cost of someone else, and that's what was happening. But you know what though, they could have totally stopped that if they had just done the smart thing, like what you're about to tell everyone Richard Garriott did. Because that's the smart thing to do.
I first want to say, Startup Tim, are you the Tim that I know in chat? Wowhead? Just let me know. He's another inventor, entrepreneur.
Oh, cool. Like those?
So anyway, we made a change in 2010, and we said, we're not doing this anymore. And, yes, it's me. Okay. Hi, Tim. Yes, we're talking entrepreneurial stuff. Glad you could be here. This guy is brilliant, peeps. I just want to say that Startup Tim is pretty brilliant. He's created some of the biggest and best video game fan sites that have ever been out there, and he's sold them for millions of dollars. So, and he's still doing this kind of stuff. I just think that he's not so loud about it anymore. And he's like a globetrotter. He lives anywhere he wants to.
Nice.
Stuff. So, yeah.
And that's awesome.
So we decided that we were exiting out, and we got rid of all of our assets that had to do with the gray market, and and I made an announcement on a video. And the next day, I had game companies contacting me saying, hey, we know you know how to deal with these markets. Will you help us with them? But they didn't want to deal with us when we were in the middle of them ourselves. And so it was all of a sudden that all of the skill that we had learned, now the game companies are coming to us and asking us for it. And I didn't know that that was going to happen. And I'm really happy that happened, because it turned into several games that we supported. And but I'm not going to say which ones. So a lot of them we did white label, meaning that we did their transactions under their name. And then in 2011, this is what you were alluding to. Yes. So in 2011, two guys in a bar. Well, I was interviewing Richard Garriott, and after our interviews, afterwards, I think I was in the bar at the hotel getting dinner or whatnot, or something like that. And Richard Garriott comes up to me and asks if he can sit with me, and then we talk for the next hour. Which, if any of you are fans of someone like Richard Garriott, just having him come up and ask me if he can sit down and talk for a while was truly awesome, because this guy is amazing. And now that I've worked with him several times, I don't get all giggly like a little schoolgirl, around him. But I'm sure I was a little bit, I was a little bit starstruck and stuff. But I mean, even though I had, met with him several times before that and stuff, and basically he sits me down and he says, I have this new game I'm working on. And he's like, I haven't come up with a name for it yet, or what the whole theme for it's going to be. He says, but it's going to be a successor to Ultima Online. And instantly, bam, you have my attention. Ultima
you love
Online.
that game.
Yeah. And so instantly he had my attention. And then he starts saying, okay, so we want to, he says, unfortunately, EA owns all of these assets. And he started rattling things off, like the term Ultima and Ultima Online, and a bunch of different things like moon gates, and which were in the game, and other stuff, and all the town names. And so I'm like going, well, that's really sad, because I, really wanted to see those things again. And so he's like, so, hey, what do people want in this new MMO that I'm doing that they will recognize that it is the spiritual successor to Ultima Online? And so we talked about the name of the game, and I'm like, I don't know what the name should be, but it really should have some elements in it that we identify with. And I'm like, dragon, of course. And he's like, well, that one's heavily used. Yeah. And so we started talking about the different items in the games. And I'm like, moon gates. And he's like, no, I can't use that term. And I'm like, okay, so when you die, you have your death shroud. And he's like, that one might work. And then there was a bunch of other things. But I remember the shroud one talking about that. And now it's called Shroud of the Avatar. So I don't know if he already had that in mind and I just cemented it or whatever.
Take the credit, Marcus.
But
Take
that was
credit.
that was a really cool moment.
That is cool.
And so, we sat down and had a drink and talked about this. And at the end of that, I told him, I don't care what game you're making. I want to be involved. I don't want to work for you, because that would be kind of the ultimate. Most people would be like, hey, hire me. But I know that I'm not a person that wants to work for other people. So I'm like, whatever we do, keep me involved. And so here we are. We're the only official reseller for Shroud of the Avatar, and we're the only official trusted trader for Shroud of the Avatar. So,
which, by the way, is right back where we started. That solves their problem of having increased cost for customer service for real money trading or any other kind of trading, because they can refer everybody to you because you're the only one who can legally do it.
Well, they allow anyone to do it.
Okay.
It's just that they are willing to state that they suggest people to come to us.
Okay.
And that Yeah, and so they have taken a different stance on things. It's always been that, hey, we're doing, people are buying and selling the stuff on the external market. We got to crush that, and they spend a lot of time and effort crushing that. And so they're taking a different tact, and this new tact was actually developed by Gordon Walton and Todd Coleman with Crowfall, and that is that they were going to allow it. They were just going to put in place a couple of trusted people to recommend for transactions. That way, when anybody complains that they got gypped or whatnot, they say, well, you should have used these guys. And it solves a lot of problems for them. And I can tell you, when Gordon came to me and he says, I want you to do RMT for our new game, I'm like, are you fucking nuts? I wrote him paragraphs and paragraphs stating that. And I literally did. I wrote him like 2 full pages saying, you're nuts. And so what does he reply after I send him all that? He says, when do you want to start? Awesome. And I'm like, okay, I'll hop on. I don't know why you want to do this, but let's do it. And their system is working. So I have to give them props for that.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, and a different way of thinking. That is being an entrepreneur. Gordon will tell you he's an entrepreneur. I interviewed him a couple weeks ago on the show, and I asked him if he was an entrepreneur, and he's like, 100% yes, So, yeah, blazing a new trail or taking a different take on something, and so, not a big deal. Well, maybe it is a big deal.
That is kind of a big deal. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So let's see here. Yeah. So I'm looking at the notes here, and really I've kind of covered most everything else here, except to say this day right here we are a trusted trader for both Shroud of the Avatar and Crowfall, and very proud of that. And I don't know where that's going to lead to, but that's just kind of in my entrepreneurial journey to where we're at right now. So now.
Well, I was going to say that there was somebody who asked a question in chat about our product.
Okay.
So for those of you who are coming in new, we've got a product very, very reasonably priced. I think it's $45, and it's how to start out, everything you need to know, creating success like Marcus has on YouTube. And somebody asked a little earlier. He said, "Look, I've got a channel going. I've got 100 subscribers. I'm making money on ads. Can you help me? Is this product going to help me?" Well, we can't answer that. We don't know whether or not it's going to help you or not. But we can say this: we started out thinking we were going to create a beginner kind of how-to product, and it morphed into something that was much, much bigger than that. So we have people who have full-on video channels, or YouTube channels, they've got a ton of videos, they've got some subscribers, and they're commenting to us how much value they've gotten and how we've given them new stuff to think about, new things to try for getting even more viewers and lots of different areas as well. So do you have the image?
Sure. Yeah. So let's talk about that for just a little bit here. Oops, not the limo. That's for after your success. Yeah, the limo's for after your success.
Yeah.
So what we've got here is that this product was started because I have so many people coming to me asking me how I do stuff, and I've always answered people, just casually or whatnot, but I certainly get more mail in game, in email, in YouTube and everything than what I can possibly answer. So, knowing Jordan here, having met Jordan, and knowing that he had done info products before, I'm like, let's talk about this, because if we could put this together into something that we could give out, then we would. And we came to that point after realizing that that the stuff that was out there, because the easy answer was just to, refer people someplace to get this information, but nobody
Yeah.
had all of it.
Yeah, I remember talking to you about it, and you said, you know, I just really rather send everyone to an online resource where they can get this stuff for free. And I said, great, show me where they can go. And we looked, didn't we? We looked,
Yeah.
and at best, we found stuff that was incomplete. At worst, there were things that were just plain old wrong. And the thing that sucks is anytime I'm researching something, if I'm starting out from zero, I don't know what's truth and what's false, and so
Absolutely.
I have to spend all my time trying stuff out, not knowing whether or not I'm doing the right thing. Right? So that was kind of, I think, I mean, you tell me, that was kind of the tipping point, I think, for you when you realized that, like, okay, we're going to site after site here, and like at the very, very best, they're missing the crucial 20% of golden nuggets that gets you 80% of the revenue. And
Yeah.
the success.
So that's what we decided, was that that if I was gonna work on creating a guide like this, I was gonna be all the way in, not just partial, not 80%. I was gonna be all the way in and committed to actually making something of real value that people could use. And so all of my entrepreneurial experience, all of these things that I've done, these successes, these failures, are in this, because it's a way of thinking. And so not only are we teaching you how to be an excellent YouTuber and play video games and get paid to do that, it's also, you're learning, and there's nothing in here that says that you're doing this. I'm telling you that if you go through this process and you start thinking like the way we're talking, you're going to find out that you're seeing opportunities in other places, not just in YouTube. And I can't wait to start applying this to other places. Jordan and I have talked about that we are going to do another one of these, but we haven't decided exactly what it's going to be yet. But I have so many exciting areas that we can do this, including, I think, Jordan, after we get a few of these done, we're going to have a challenge. We're going to take on one that neither one of us know about.
Okay.
And we are going to learn it and show everybody how that can be done. And by presenting how they can do something and that we can learn it and figure it out, we can empower everybody that they can do the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I think it'll be very powerful.
That's a great idea. And you and I both know, I mean, just from a straight up business strategy, okay, nobody's going to want to buy anything else from you ever if you fall short when you sell them the first thing. So you and I were committed to providing a ton of value for a little bit of money. And so far, I think we're hitting it out of the park, because everybody who's come back to us and with a comment has said, holy crap, great value, did not expect all of this, awesome ideas, great, awesome. I'm glad to hear it, and just please keep that in mind for the next time, because we're going to keep on delivering. We're going to keep on bringing the value.
Yeah. So, okay, so if you've ever thought about being your own boss, about playing video games and getting paid for it, about actually being able to tell your parents or your wife that, hell yeah, this money that I've spent on this video game is totally worth it because I'm making that back, or this is my new job, definitely hop on board on this, ! No job in Twitch chat, and it's in the description in YouTube. And we look forward to working with you on this. And anybody who's in there right now, we've only had one criticism out of anything, and it was from somebody who hadn't bought it. So everybody, and if there are criticisms, I want to hear it, because we want to make stuff better, and we will. We've built this product to be kind of live so that we can make changes on the fly if we need to.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of it. Very proud of it.
Yeah,
so,
and I think
Nitronous Gaming, yes.
Nitronous Gaming says he just started a channel. He's got a couple of videos up. Looking forward to buy the product when he's got the cash for it. That's another thing. We don't want anybody struggling. We don't want anybody, weighing and balancing whether or not they're going to, you know, be
If
able to
it's
put
this
food
or
on the
put
table.
food on the table, put food on the table. When you
Yeah.
have plenty of food, then buy it.
Yeah, we, you know, and part of that also, it's not just because we're nice guys. There's also a business decision around that too, because if you're ready to buy and you're really committed to buying, then you're going to be committed to actually taking action, which is really what we're committed to. It's what we really want to see. We want to see all of the members of our YouTube success group who've purchased the product to be in action, make videos, get viewers, get that really great momentum going. And people who are on the fence or struggling, they typically don't take action a whole lot, right? And so we welcome anybody to buy the product, but you're not going to get a hard pitch from us.
Tally On says, give away some review copies or samples. That would be a really easy way to get honest comments. No. As a business person, I can tell you that the feedback that we're getting from the people who are already in is golden. And so I don't need to put it out there for free in order to get people in, because I already see what's happening. They're already pulling other people in. And so I don't mean to sound harsh on that, because that is a general way that is done for a lot of things. But this is solid. This is absolutely solid. So, and it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not. It is a get successful scheme.
Yeah. Once again, we started talking about this earlier. One of the things that all the get rich quick guys pitch, regardless of however they're doing it, they tend to gloss over what you're actually going to be spending your time doing. And I take exception to that. They want to talk about like, oh, my system is this and my system is that for Facebook ads or whatever. And by the way, I'm a Facebook advertiser. I know a ton about it. The question is, what do you want to spend your time doing while you're building the machine that generates the passive revenue or the extra income that they're selling, right? Me personally, I'd rather play video games and upload the videos to YouTube. That's what I'd want to spend my time doing. And as a matter of fact, we're talking about a challenge that some of our associates and I are going to take together. We're not going to release that information just yet because you and I are still working on that. But I mean, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna really get into this. And by the way,
we got something that's going to knock it out of the park for a lot of the people involved in this.
Yeah. And by the way, I'd like to recognize Talion from a business strategy standpoint. Okay, that's a good idea, right? So I'm glad that you didn't. You said that you weren't being too harsh. I didn't think you were being too harsh, but let's talk about that for a second. This is a teachable, like, golden nugget, right? Most people don't understand what the definition of social proof is, right? Social proof is what we naturally look for in other people to tell us what to do. It's like just this ingrained psychological thing, right? And scientists have done studies on social proof, weird, funny things. Maybe we should do an episode about social proof one of these days, right? It's where testimonials come from. It's where the stampede starts. It always starts with a couple of shills at the front of the room stampeding towards the back of the room to get the thing at these events, right? It's what people look for to make sure that it's not a scam, whatever you're buying, right? So giving out free for honest comments is a nice way of getting started if nobody knows you.
If you have zero traction.
Yeah, if they don't know you're a scam artist or if you are a good person or whatever, if they don't know you, then that's the only way in some cases for you to get started. It devalues your product, so there's a give and take, but it's definitely worth thinking about because it's a solid strategy and a lot of people use it in a lot of cases. Talion also asks, how long is the guide and what format is it in? It's a series of videos behind a membership site. We could be selling it as a membership, but we're not. It's actually a really cool membership. And I think we've got just over 7 hours of videos.
It's over 8, I believe. It's seven segments and over 8 hours of video.
Yeah, it could be, and
Yeah.
there's some bonus content. There's some bonus content in there. Like for instance, we talk about all of the stuff that pertains directly to playing video games and uploading on my YouTube. But we also do a segment about what I've learned doing online marketing with social media, and how you can apply these strategies in just about any business, especially when it comes to social media. So I hope that answers your question. And once again, tally on, solid comments, man. Thank you.
Yeah, and Pablo, yes, it's still bring a friend. We haven't mentioned that today. That like Jordan and I are partners in this project. We believe that if you want a partner, you should absolutely have one. And so if you buy this, you then choose one of your buddies or whoever that you think it'd be good to work with, and start working together. You may probably both have your own channels or whatever, but working together with other people is going to help accelerate your success. And so we really want to encourage that. And so, yes, you bring somebody with you with this purchase price, or you split the price or whatever. So
well, mind you, we're not making it. We're not opening the door for everybody to be able to log in with your login. Okay.
Oh, yeah, correct.
We are saying with the Facebook group that is the closed Facebook group for this product, and for the live webinar where you get to actually ask questions that pertain to this product real time, you can have a friend join you for both of those, and they can participate in the conversations and all of that. And to tell you the truth, I think the main decision for that was it's just easier for me to have your friend join the Facebook group and the live webinar, and that's where I think they'll probably get the most value, and where you'll get the most value having an accountability partner. In fact, if you think about it, just about every super successful person has been a member of a team, even if the team has kind of been behind the scenes. Steve Jobs, he had Steve Wozniak, right? And the list goes on. I mean, I can't even remember all of the people who you say, oh yeah, that's a big name, but you're right. He had somebody behind him. I think Bill Gates had Steve Ballmer and a couple of people. I mean, the list goes on and on. So I guess what I'm saying is if you're going to do anything, you might as well bring a friend and have the support of a friend, like you're saying, Marcus.
Feral Loki, man, he's got a lot of writing there. He says, this stream is so interesting. I got to give both of you huge kudos for putting so much work into this guide. Most people would not be sharing how they got their success. They would simply say, good luck and go for it, because it probably took them X amount of years to be successful. Why should they make life easier for you? So that's for huge respect for both of you wanting to help other gamers turning their hobby into a dream job. Perfect.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
I mean, yeah. Do you mind, Feral Loki, do you mind if I copy that? I'm gonna put that down so I can go look at that later and go, wow, we're so successful.
Well, listen, that's another thing that we talk about in our closed Facebook group. As a matter of fact, we brought this point up in a special video we did just for them. We want everyone who's connected to us to be successful, because they are our next potential partners, right? So a rising tide raises all boats, and if we are all connected and we're all supporting each other, and we all have these relationships that we're starting online that we eventually can take into the real world, then every single one of them becomes your potential partner, and you have more opportunities that way by being successful. And just being selfish, I get more success when you're successful, because my potential for success increases because I have more opportunities when you're successful. So it's very, very simple, and it's what I call good business. I mean, I don't know what you would call it, Marcus, but I think it's
fun.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I love what we do.
Yeah.
So, let's talk. We have just a couple other bullet points here.
Well, hold on. Ira John Gilmore says, "What's your website?" That's in YouTube chat. That's in the link is in the description, right?
Yeah, and I wrote that in there
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
That was me typing while you were talking.
Ah, very good.
Yeah.
So I was buying you time.
Right.
Got it.
So, yeah, and then on YouTube, it's Twitch, it's exclamation point no job. And in fact, there is a, I've got it linked right below the video too, I believe. Actually, I don't remember does that go to the email list or does that go to the product? Heck, I don't remember. I'm gonna have to look later.
Yeah.
So,
You should do that.
so there's a couple of things that I want to tell you too that's in this, and the reason is because these are a top couple of things that people talk about as impediments to their success of doing something like making videos and posting them online. And so so one of the common things that we hear is that you don't want to be on camera, and that or you don't have a good camera or whatever. No problem. You know, there are a lot of YouTubers who you only hear their voice and you see the stuff. There are, if you watch Twitch and the live show stuff, look at Lyric. How many of you have ever seen Lyric on camera? Nobody. I've never seen him on camera, and I've watched him a bunch.
And Lyric is one of the guys who's really getting it done, right? I mean,
well, he typically has, 30, 40, 50,000 viewers.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he's really getting it done.
Okay.
And he's funny, and I've seen pictures of him in real life, and he's a good-looking guy. He doesn't have anything to hide. He just doesn't want to be on camera. So whether you have something to hide or not, who cares? You know? You don't have to be on camera in order to be successful with this. And we talk about that a bunch in the product. And we talk about ways to overcome that and everything. And so, and then there was another thing, that you don't want to talk. Now, doesn't it seem crazy? We couldn't do a show like this without talking. But, there's one guy that I know that flies spaceships like I do that has a mad amount of viewers, and he doesn't talk. People ask him questions, and he replies typing in chat on a live show.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's
and
funny.
And he's not on camera either. So, Lyric is the number 7 streamer on Twitch. Yes. So just think about that. These are the two things that you would say, there is no way I could make videos without talking. Yes, you can. And so as long as what you're demonstrating there or showing provides value, whether it's entertainment or education, you can. So, and props to these people doing it that way, because they're outside of the box. They're outside of the norm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. As well as, I don't have the equipment for it. I don't have like a rockin' system. As a matter of fact, Jormungand 117 said, what kind of laptop should I use? I can only use a laptop, and streaming is horrendous. Actually, we're not talking about streaming in our product. We're talking about recording in our product and then uploading later to YouTube, right?
It's not a far stretch to go streaming, but that's going to be a different product.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
because there's a lot of fine details to that. But if you're successful at YouTube, you will be successful at this other stuff too. And we're going to show you, in the future here, leaps and bounds, how to just bam, and oh my God, I got all this stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I Love 13 asks a really, really good question.
Yes.
And since you are a father, I think you should answer that question because it's a good question.
I Love 13 says, what about doing a show that features a minor child doing videos? My daughter loves being in front of the camera. So, my son Isaac, if he comes home from school and I'm still doing the show, he asks if he can come on the show all the time. And so I've had him on here a couple of times. But if you are... Okay, so in the beginning, you should be involved in editing the video with your kid, and making sure that we don't discuss this in the guide, but you know what, I think in the next product we probably should discuss this a bit. And here's what I'm going to say, is that you just need to make sure that it does not contain any information about who your kid is in real life and how any way that they would be contacted. And so as long as people and with that, if they're putting up YouTube videos, turn on the comment approval, so that way that you can go and read the comments with your kid that are of what's being said on their video, but you've already approved all of them and cleared out all the crap, because there is crap on the internet all over the place.
Yeah.
And YouTube commenters or YouTube chat is the most toxic out of all of the platforms. But so if you put in the comment stuff to where you have to approve it, then great. And absolutely get some stuff up there. There are some kids there's like this 12, or he's not even 12, maybe he's 10 years old. His dad is a marketer, and he's got his kid with all these new toys and everything, and he just tells him to make videos. And this kid is knocking it out of the park, saying how much he loves these particular toys. And then you know what he does? He does the exact same thing that we tell in our product. I'm not going to tell what it is because I don't want to devalue it at all. He does the exact same thing that we talk about in the product here on how to knock it out of the park on making money with that kind of thing, and not just on the advertising. And so it's really cool. And his kid's like 10. Noah plays. Yeah, I think that's it. And so I can tell you, you want to know the impact that this kid has? My other kids come to us and say, I want this toy. We just saw it on a YouTube video. And so, you know.
Yeah, and by the way, what are they getting from Noah Plays? They're getting social proof, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they're getting another kid telling them, no, don't listen to adults if you don't want to about this toy. I'm telling you this toy is cool.
Yeah.
Solid,
so,
man. That's solid.
It is. So, yeah.
So anyway, thanks, Talion. He says, great channel. Thanks for the contributions. So are we ready to close it down, or you have?
I have one more thing.
Okay.
So Flying Dutchman says, I can talk when I sleep, no problem. Whatever. I don't know what that means, but really starting to think about this he sold his business. So I think the English is not his first language. So let me just translate what I'm getting here.
Okay.
And that is that he sold his business 2 years ago and then became a dad. And so maybe he's a stay-at-home dad. And now he's thinking about looking for something new. And what better thing can you do than making videos at home while you're still able to raise your family? And there are actually a lot of professional YouTubers that do this. So certainly if you have business experience, if you sold a company before and everything, you're going to get this stuff like right on the mark. You know, because you have to be pretty smart to have created a business that you sell. And so, if you like video games and you want to do video stuff.
Yeah, some of the best videos I've seen is a father playing with his children and getting just as excited as the kids do and screaming and yelling.
Mm-hmm.
And
I just wish that EVE Online was not so technical that even I have a hard time understanding it, because I would totally have my kids in on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They want to play Minecraft, though.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Hey, Minecraft's great.
It is. So, okay. So, let's start wrapping this up.
Okay. So, I can't remember. Did you want me to leave the camera on?
Oh, well.
Is that what you wanted me to do? Which, by the way, somebody said, man, Jordan, you got to get some decor going back there. Well, I will have you know that this is a poster board list of all of the really cool online tools that I use.
So zoom in really tight.
Yeah. If you can zoom in, you'll see.
There's not enough quality on that.
They're really cool. This is actually one of many online funnels that I've got posted throughout my office, where the market comes in at the top of the funnel and works its way down. And then this here, I don't know if we got any pilots out there, but I was flying one day with a buddy of mine, taking lessons, and he said, "You want to do something fun?" And he just cranked the plane to like some crazy angle, and I said, "Ooh, nobody's going to believe this." So I grabbed my camera and put it on the dashboard and took a shot of it. So that's what that is. So my office is decorated. It's just not decorated normally.
It's not like mine.
Yeah.
Which mine is off the hook.
You have an awesome office, and I can say that having been there. That is really, really great. And as a matter of fact, it was hard for us to get anything done because I was like, "Ooh, what's that? Ooh, tell me about this." That
and
looks
I'm like, Jordan, quit touching. Slap,
That's right.
slap. Yeah,
that's exactly right. Yeah.
So, okay, well, exclamation point no job in Twitch chat. There's a link in the description on YouTube. We'd love to work with you guys if you're thinking about it. Money back guarantee. So if you get it and for whatever reason you go, it's not for me, I don't care. We'll give you your money back and wish you well. There'll be no ill will. You're not going to have to fight for it or nothing like that. And basically we don't believe in that. So and so I look forward to working with you, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next show. Where you'll be able to see me putting in practice exactly what I'm preaching, which is getting paid to play video games, and Farrell after the show. And then so join us tomorrow. Okay, do we want to go out in style?
Yeah, we can go out in style.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, you didn't answer me though. Do I want to just leave it on?
Well, for a moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, not forever.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
Okay, so we're heading on out of here. Have all of you guys got your glasses on? You ready?
Let's get ready to rock it.
Yep. So here we go. Okay, guys, it's been really great. I don't know what the topic is for next week yet, but we're going to make it up. We're going to figure it out, and we're going to blow it out of the park.
That makes two of us.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you, everybody. Put it on your calendar. Join us same time, same place next week. Hands if we good